Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome, guests. Don't expect me to put on a show for you tonight. Come on. We've all heard the quote that life is a stage and we're all actors, right? A lot of people ask me, how did I get into acting? I've been a trained actor for 3 years now. And I tell them, I found my way into acting through Toastmasters. It's very funny. I was at a workshop one day, an acting workshop. It's called Platformance as in platform. And it was designed for Toastmasters who want to work to improve their stage presence and their concept of acting and bring it over into their public speaking. And I was curious, so I just signed up for that one-day seminar. And the guy was filming everyone during the day as we did our skits and our exercises. And at the end of the day, he showed us the videotapes of what we were doing. And I saw myself, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. And everyone was sharing that feeling. So that is how I started. That is the impulse that drove me to sign up for that first acting class. And I've learned a lot about acting, but to summarize it for this speech, I think there's three major lessons that really apply to life that I learned from acting. The first lesson in acting that I learned is that in order for a scene, when you have a scene on a screen or a scene on the stage, to capture an audience, to hold the audience's attention, and directors will call this a scene that's alive, a really breathing with life. To have a scene that's alive, the actors have to have actions. That is to say, that person is on stage as a character in a situation, and that actor wants something in the scene. That is the action, the objective. And I found that to be very metaphorical to life. We go through life, we have to have an objective. We have to have a goal. We have to have visions, something to aim for, something that we feel strongly about. And that also applies, I think, to public speaking. When you have a speech, you have a point. You definitely have to have a point that will direct you through the speech and give your speech a structure. So I think in terms of the first big lesson, having a point, having an action is the biggest thing I learned. The second thing I learned in acting that I found really carried over to life was being in the moment. Now we know actors have lines, they have scripts, they have their words fed to them before they go onto the stage. And this is one of the, I think, most challenging parts of acting that I took to. Because I found I had words that I would just memorize, lines, and I would just rehearse over and over and over. And then when it's time to perform, I go on stage, and then I just I start gripping onto those lines, gripping onto the text. And I found it really difficult to just let go and really live the character, be immersed in the situation, and really believe who I was. And I found that to be very true in life as well. Because a lot of times we are taught in schools, we're trained to do this and that. We're acclimated to, different environments. We're socialized to behave in certain ways, in certain situations. And a lot of times we just sort of adhere to what's given to us, what's taught to us. And I think the same challenge that I found in acting applies to life. The idea of really being in the moment, really setting aside those lines, the words, the rules, and taking the time to really be there in the moment, in your situation, with the people you are with. And then it just comes to life by itself. And also with public speaking, I think the acting, that idea of being in the moment, letting go of the text, of the words, also applies. I remember as an earlier speaker many years ago, not many years ago, a few years ago, when I first came here, and my challenge with public speaking and giving speeches, I would write them out, have my words set, I would memorize them, rehearse them over and over and over again, and then come here, the big day, the performance, and I would find myself just wanting to go back to that text that I memorized and just by rote, just regurgitating it out back. And it wasn't until later on that I really had the courage to put the words down, take the time and be in the moment, immersed in the situation, in the audience, with the people, and really follow the action that I had for myself, the objective, which was to communicate. Or it could have been to entertain you guys, maybe to inform you, to educate you, and really follow that objective and really tune into not what I memorized, but what do I want you guys to get from my speeches. So that's the second big thing, being in the moment. The third lesson I would say about acting would have to do with the richness of our senses. Acting is very physical. You're on stage, your body is involved, you're moving around, touch, taste, smell, feelings, really reading into people. And a lot of exercises in acting train the actor to be tuned into the moment and really observe, really let the situation, let the environment influence and move the actor, to be open, to be vulnerable. And I think that applies to life as well, acting. The idea that in life, when we go about doing our things, whether it's our jobs, whether it's whatever tasks we're occupied with, we're very focused. We're very, very focused on a particular point of view. And we really shut out it's kind of like putting blinders on and really tuning into your task. What acting taught me was, if you're really taking the time to observe everything while you do your task, you'll discover things that you didn't really see before. I remember a simple exercise that an acting teacher told me to do. He said, "Okay, Edwin, look out the window over there. Now take stock of everything that's green that you see, everything that's green outside the window. Remember it, okay? I'll give you a few more seconds. Look at everything that's green. Okay, now let's look back. You shut the window. Okay, now tell me what was red." And that was a very simple exercise, but it really illustrated to me how when we're doing things, we're really looking for a specific thing, a very specific thing, and we're shutting out everything else. But if you really take the time and look at everything that's there, you'll discover a lot more things that you don't notice. So the three lessons: having a goal in life, having a vision, having an action on stage. That is the first lesson. The second lesson is learn the rules, but then set them down and open yourself to be in the moment. Because if you're not in the moment, if you're not tuned into who you're doing your action to, who you're speaking to, who you're trying to persuade or something, then your scene, so to speak, is not alive. Then you're just memorizing your lines or doing the tasks you were trained, but not really you're just doing them mechanically. And that's not life. So that's the second lesson. And the third lesson, I would say again, is being attentive and really observing everything, and trying on all the different lenses that we have. Not just the green lens, but also all the other colors, and really letting the richness come to you. And acting, I would say it has helped me tremendously, not only in life, but in public speaking. Just those three things, I think. Very simple, very basic. And you don't have to go to an acting school, because I just shared with you those three big lessons. That's basically, in a nutshell, the three big things you'll learn in acting. So, life is a stage. Be alive on that stage. Don't just be memorizing and spitting out your lines. Mr. Toastmaster.